Yeah. But I digress. Well, go ahead and start. As the team moves forward with the rest of the situation at hand, while let's just say for the better part of it, your team has done a few things, met a few new people, and managed to get here where they now stand. With the people in front of you, you managed to survive and hold out for this long, but you were told of an army encroaching your current position. With Ada currently unconscious and Whisper as well, not really sure what to do, you thought of a plan, thought of a way to get out. Bringing back the Shadow Dragon from the forest, you had more or less of an idea of distracting a section of the army at the very least to slow them down so everyone else can escape into the next city. However, that is not going to be enough to stop an invading army, but it will buy time, which is genuinely something that is needed. With Dusk already giving the information to the general, an army can be amassed within some time, but they still need to hold out. With Nikolai's idea of having these people basically tell the next city over, to hold out, they will have that time for the rest of the army to get there. It's just, well, they're still fighting a war. Undead and shadows alike are heading your way. And soon enough, back in the Shadowfell, Ada and Whisper made a deal. In order to return, Ada chose to become the champion of the Raven Queen. Or a champion of the Raven Queen. Maybe not the champion, but we'll see how it goes. But needed a reason why. And the reason, more or less, was to bring down Ophelia. The one that is summoning spirits there in mass and in droves, far more than needed. And based off the number that Ada was told, far more than the current army would allow or require. So, striking the deal, Ada became a ASMR, a being of angelic ancestry with a few new tools to deal with the situation at hand, but also lowering a few things here and there to break even. Now return back to the mortal realm about in a few hours to potentially face an army, or at the very least run away from one. We return back with Ada, Whisper, coming back consciously, and then another woman that Nikolai immediately threatened.
Yeah.
Sounds like a...
Yeah. Millie looks towards you, Nikolai, and goes, "Yep, happens every time. Just shepherding back two souls."
And then I turned around to give Whisper a hug as we closed out, and then
Yeah. She gives one back, and it's quite nice. Bring back your friends. Millie looks towards Ada and Whisper, and she does state, "Okay, I don't really know much what's going on in the immortal plane. But from what I can tell, there are undead in the air. I just don't know how many."
Oh,
what do you mean?
What did we miss?
Oh my goodness!
1,000.
How did Ada? What in the world happened? How are you back?
Do we have time for an explanation, or did something
I no. Well, I mean, not really. I think that definitely it's a miracle that you're back, and I'm happy that we're able to be together, but I know that it's kind of bittersweet because we had Full and Fauna. We had them fly out to go scout out what was going on with the army, and we found out there was thousands of zombies that were marching on the way
Oh,
to Jompra, and
what?
or is it on? They're on the way to Gret, right? Or are they
Yes.
at?
No,
Are
They're
they,
on the.
they
are
were
they
on
on
the
the
way
way to
Anyway.
Gret
to
and then to
John
Jompra,
Prub.
or are they going to? Sorry, go ahead.
They, in a few hours, will make it to Jompra. After,
what I
let's say,
thought.
if there's someone else there helping them, they'll take over the city within a few hours. Afterwards, sometime later, they will be heading over towards the next city. And that city is where you guys are heading towards.
So I relay it. Yeah, I say that. So we need to, and also they have some mages that are controlling the army. So, and protecting them are 2 dragons, just like the one we fought in the forest.
Oh
So,
my. This
so,
happened. How long? Okay, how long were we dead? It was just a few minutes. First
A good half day,
half day.
about 12
maybe a full
hours.
day.
Maybe 16. I
That
don't know.
is
About
dumb.
16, yeah.
Okay. And you're thinking instead of going to the army, we're retreating, where I know my brother is going to be in danger.
Ada, we just realized that you're not dead anymore. We were going to retreat because we had to revive you. This kind of changes the situation a little bit.
Okay. Also, it's gonna play Whisper. See, I told you people care about you and they need you.
And I,
Okay.
as I probably like gave Whisper like a 10-minute or 10 second long hug or something, just because like I don't know. And then I say to Whisper like, okay, don't, just be more careful, please. I don't think I can handle it if you're gone, if anybody's gone again.
No promises, but
Aw,
kind of my job.
Gary.
I know.
Okay, she then pushes you to the side. Not
I
like
know, I-
forcefully, but like
Yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah.
breaking off the hug. Right, okay. Undead army situation problem. Ada, how... Don't take this the wrong way. How weak is your brother?
Would I make a history check?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. And the bad rolls begin. There we go.
Oh
Hard to
my.
tell. You haven't been with him for a few years now, so it's honestly hard to tell for you if he's weaker or stronger than he was. From what you remember as a small youth and then teen, he was a ladies' man. He was very not confrontational if it didn't have to be confrontational. So you don't really know that much when he's like fighting. That being said, he would not be dumb. If he needed to evacuate, he would try to save as many people as possible.
Data would just shrug. I mean, he's strong, a lady's charmer, from what I remember, and knowing him well enough, he would probably not leave without a fight or trying to save people.
All right, that'll work. Do you mind if I use the mechanical bird Opal gave you? Opal currently has finished doing her thing and like has packed up already, and does say, "Up to Ada, give it to her."
Do I still the bird?
You
Yes,
still
ma'am.
have the egg, yeah.
Okay, Ada would give it a whisper, and I'm
Okay.
just gonna look at Opal. What were you doing? Are you okay?
Better now, I guess. Just experimenting on something that may work for later. Opal then finishes giving a message inside the egg, and then goes, "All right, I'm gonna send this off. It's not as fast as a magical spell, but they won't be able to detect this. At least we'll give your brother fair warning before anything happens." She basically cracks the egg, forming the metal bird, and it flies away. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
I'm pretty sure he'll be
it's-
fine. I'm pretty sure he won't die, and he might be able to save a life or two.
all right, Ada sits on the bed, and she like puts her elbows on her knees and like places her hands out so she can put like in sleepers when girls just like do that position where they sit crisscross applesauce and they put their like elbows on their legs and they just like
Mhm.
tilt their head forward. She's just
Uh-huh.
doing that. Like, so what are we doing?
I don't know.
This is a bub game. I'm starting to get lightheaded and crashing at the same time. So
Oh, if
I'm
Just get some rest.
no.
if
Like
you want to,
I've had plenty of rest. No, I think I might be going into a seizure, so I'm gonna get off right now.
Oh,
Okay.
Should we
So-
stop?
Yeah, you guys can continue to kind of just role play a little bit if you want
Okay.
to.
Okay.
But
Please.
I'm gonna get off.
Please get
just
better.
so
Yeah,
that
no
I'm-
problem.
Yeah.
So, okay. Sorry about this, but
It's fine. Take care of
you're fine,
yourself.
you're good. Take
Yeah,
care
Yeah,
of
so-
you're
yourself.
fine.
I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
See ya.
Take care.
Oh, I hope it gets better.
Well, he was able to tell, so it's probably a light one, but it's still a concern. But
Yeah.
he's well aware of what's happening, so that's good at the very least. But getting back to it, you did state, what are you doing? And Whisper does state, right. Military-wise, did anyone inform the kingdom, the soldiers?
Yes, we sent a letter to the king. Dust used his bag, and then I informed the soldiers that were here.
Okay. If the military knows, it's going to take them maybe 8 hours to rally enough people to help out the city, and then another 3 days to get an encroaching army to stop them and maybe push them back. But it's going to take time. Plans. Next city, did anyone warn them?
Not yet. I don't
So we-
believe so.
So should we head over there?
We did. At least we need to send someone as an advance party to warn them about an encroaching army, so they can make blockades and have spellcasters at the ready and bowmen. So yeah,
Who-
probably.
Why can't we just send them in that we have here to the city, and then we head down to go take a first assault so they can't take Jopra?
She does. Grok does state that would likely be the best thing. However, if we all go there, the problem is that we'd be facing who knows how many people. We could probably stop a few people here and there, but no matter how incredible we are not an army's worth of strength.
I mean, technically, if the army is mostly undead, how many actual soldiers are there? Do we target the casters, the spell users, so that they are the ones that we attack and not the army on the ground, and we go from the air?
Millie does state, not that I'm involved in this, just brought these two back. Killing the casters that are controlling the undead would cause them to just be mindless enemies, which would maybe buy time for the city, but you'd have roaming undead attacking anything that's alive.
How do you know
that's
so much
probably-
about what's going on? Or how do you know so much about undead? guess.
Technically dead,
That's where we were.
kind of.
Okay.
Not important.
What-
I'm known as a Revan, a thing that comes back from the dead to avenge something or someone, or an ideal, something with that notion. Not really important. Don't really need to know my backstory.
Hmm.
She
Ada-
has one, by the way, at a game. It's just not important.
Oh, nice.
Ada, you also what did you want to say?
I was gonna say we were kind of stuck in the Shadow Vale for I would say a day and a half. Kind
More or
of talk with the
less. Yeah.
Yep. We made, well, sort of, I made a deal with her. We have to kill Ophelia, and,
Seems
also,
fair.
big news. I'm technically an Aasimar now and a daughter to the Raven Queen, so that's interesting. I had to become a champion from killing Ophelia, blah blah blah. That's all you really missed.
I don't know how to take that, but
We don't
yeah,
really have time to
fun.
take that, but
Grok does state, honestly, I'm not surprised at this kind of turn of events. At least not
yeah, we
anymore.
had deals a lot of times. I mean, it's not the first one. Let's see.
True.
There was one with Glacia. I still don't know if I technically have one with her. I'm not gonna think about it now. Let's see. We had the one with the entities. There's a bunch more. You made one with Bentar. Dust made one with Bentar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Usual.
No need to drag up the past. I think we're fine.
Grok does state, other than considerable amounts of contracts we've done, present, sometimes company excluded, not sure about anyone else, not gonna ask. So we have an idea of the army. We could potentially fight them and help out Jonpra, but again, we're more precision knife rather than a cannonball. So we should probably direct ourselves in a way where we can cut out this enemy in a easier way, shape, or form. But the soldiers here can tell the city to watch out, blockade themselves, and hold out until the army gets here.
Indeed.
Jonpra has been warned thanks to Whisper and Ada's brother soon afterwards, in like an hour or so. So they'll be prepared at the very least, and no one necessarily has to die. But there are some people that will likely die, unfortunate but true, as that is war. So we have everything more or less safeguarded. The only thing is where we would go. We could go to Jonpra, but that would potentially get us killed. But I looks towards Vol. Would be willing to go there, but Vol herself cannot go for obvious reasons. Vol does state, unfair but technically true. So she would have to sit out and head towards with the rest of the military to the north city of Gert. That being said, if we know any location of where Ophelia's strengths are, we might be able to target those areas and maybe weaken the army to at least help out the rest of the soldiers. But the only other location that we know of that this, as Dust mentioned, Crimson Order has is in the southern city of Hydra.
Is there a way? This is just me like thinking right now, but I really wish I could just spy on somebody, just like to see what they're doing or like where they are. Is there a way we could do that?
I mean, I could spy on Glacia if you want me to do that.
What do you mean?
You were there when we did that bond thing, right? I'm pretty sure you were there. I think I still have that.
Does that let you know where she's at?
I can
Or
technically see through her eyes along
Yes.
with seat and read the
okay.
full
It potentially
Saturn
can.
body.
She
Or-
can opt into two ways of doing things. One is to see through the eyes of Glacia and potentially read her mind. But if she does that, then, you know, the reverse can happen. If she just sees through her eyes, that is fine. She's not connecting to the mind. Technically, magic. That's how it works. And the other one is to try to commune with the souls in her to, like, maybe get information or to visit a friend that's technically stuck in there.
Which I also need to do. We can't do it in this situation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want me to do that?
Is that the best course of action to gain knowledge on our
I mean, put me
Enemy?
in empty rooms just in case that she figures out where we are.
I
Dark room or something.
suppose.
You have looked through her eyes before, and she hasn't figured anything out. And like, as long as you're not outside, I'm pretty sure this room will be okay. She's not a god just yet. Whisper does state, that'll probably be the easiest thing, unless someone else has a spell. I think it's called. I'm gonna roll Arcana.
Mm.
Plus modifier. Yep. Unless someone has a spell known as scrying.
Mm.
That'd probably be our only current course of action.
No, I never was able to use that spell. If I had a spell scroll, that'd be nice, but I don't think those are going to be very available.
So we're taking the.
It's up to you. But Vol says she doesn't have it. Vonna also doesn't have it. Mellie's technically here, but not here. So she can't scry in this plane of existence, unfortunately. Whisper is not that kind of caster. Grok doesn't have that spell. And Opal can't cast magic.
Yep. Well, I guess Ada,
Oh.
you are the choice.
Before everything else, Ada's probably gonna, because I forget the locations at the moment. I wrote them down. Ada's gonna explain the locations about Opal's followers, if she can.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna go there, but information worth it. I don't remember the places right now, but just bad thing for me to do. I wrote them down somewhere. I just can't find it.
No, you're fine. In fact, that kind of was what I was alluding to when when Grok was talking.
I know Ada would remember what the places were, but I have a terrible memory, and I'm not Ada. So.
Yeah, sorry, I was just messaging on Discord. Anyways, you tell everyone the current situation, and you, through process of elimination, Nikolai, Dust, Ada, you are able to tell that location is near Hydra, near a more desertly plain-like area. At least geographically, you're able to tell. Other notions of what Ada was told doesn't really make sense. But since she was in another plane of existence, she was already told that it more or less mirrors this one. But you're able to more or less pick out where their location is at. And there are technically 2 of them and maybe a third. This is more or less where they're harvesting souls, or like funneling them into the material plane. Since it's so close to Hydra, it's possible that the mission of the leader is potentially, for the lack of a better term, associated with that. You can also know and tell, based off of Dust's own findings and information, that a spell strong enough to rip or tear open a fabric of the planes themselves has been cast there, with enough fervor that they are stable there. If you can find that spell or find out what is causing that, Dust may be able to find a spell to, well, transport you and the rest of the team in, well, basically trying to save a sister, if that works out.
The gift.
So the north of Hydra is where the location is at.
That's where we'll find Glacia?
That's where her men are.
Ah.
Not Glacia.
She
Wait.
might be there. She would not be in the front of the army. That would not be her style. Not until the enemy is more or less felled. She is more, from what you can tell, a person that watches in the shadows until a grand entrance is needed.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ada's gonna do it. I don't know what I'd roll for it, but
I believe it was religion.
is it religion? Okay.
I think so.
I don't remember. It's been a while since we did this, so.
Yeah, it was religion or arcana, but I'm gonna go with religion because I think it's better for you.
I only got a
27.
good religion roll.
Okay, you rolled well enough that you can choose to see in her mind, see through her eyes, or see into the soul.
I'm assuming we're doing see through her eyes, so see
Okay.
through her eyes.
You see through her eyes, and you do see. Where is she currently?
We're on the corrupted change. Ah.
You see through her eyes, and for a moment you get a flash of bright light, and then skies as far as you can see. Hopefully it changes for you. If not,
Oh,
well
yeah.
then, that's the thing. There we go. It finally changed for me because I was in the wrong way of looking at things. With your vision, you're able to see a mountainous terrain, but you, when peering into the horizon line, see no land, see just air and floating mountainscapes. Right now, you're in a more or less courtyard with what appears to be a giant wind-like woman. From what you can tell, she is either a Genasi or a Daijin, which is basically an elemental of high strength and power. Similar to the patron that Dust stole his magic from, but not the same person. From what you can tell, they are communicating and talking with one another. And because you have that now rude skill, you're able to tell, at the very least, who she's looking at is part of the conversation. So I'm just going to straight up tell you what they're saying at this moment in time. I'm just going to roll to see how... No, I'm going to make you roll to see how juicy the information is. Go ahead and roll a d20 plus... just roll insight.
We're doing insight or a d20?
Insight. Give you a bonus.
Insight? Okay.
Ah.
Oh no, I'm nervous now.
Ah.
It's not bad. Talking, communicating with this woman, you do... you can't hear it, but you can tell the conversational points.
She can read lips.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What kind of... Let's go with Oathkeeper showing up.
Mm.
Oh wait, it says epic music.
Epic.
Whatever. This is good enough. Communicating with this air woman, Glacia does state towards her. Right then, now, just about everything is in order. The army is amassed, and soon enough they will be preoccupied, which will allow you to move things forwards in this area. I allowed you to have a few of your people go through the first time, in which case you managed to gather a few new powers, a few new strengths. In turn, you will help me get the rest of them. Humans, draconic folk, elves, they're all easy enough to tempt. The elementals, the monsters, those that are not chained by the very morality of society, they're a little tougher. So when I expect you to arrive into the plane, I expect you to arrive with your strengths, with your droves, to quell any situations. Soon enough, when the Kingdom of Isle is preoccupied with a pseudo-war, your team will be amassed at the capital. Bring in your best to take out the king, and then I will step in. Simple enough. ordained by a higher power, which would be you, and ordained by my own strength, which would be I, easily enough can become a king to simpletons that still believe in the process of kingship. The children I care for not. Deal with them if you want, or not at all. I doubt any of them are strong enough to contend with me, but we can make it a show if they really want to. Have that as a show. The airwoman then states, very well. And the rest of the bargain? After all, I managed to get a few people the last time the sundering happened, and a few more before that. And Glacia then states, well, I suppose there is that. Don't worry. As soon as the jobs are done, your end of the bargain will be completed. And the rest of my bargain will be given to you. You can amass 10% of the populace in the area to collect, gather, and probe however you want. I know your kind always want to experiment and to see how things tick. That's why you took so many the last time. And this time, there won't really be anyone stopping you. No civil army, not even good Samaritans. And in time, the kingdom will worship. And then my ascension will rise. Hopefully I don't have to do it through fear. Because in the end, I am trying to do it for the betterment of me, of course, but of everyone. I just hope no one fights back. Because then blood will be shed. And the Genasi woman, or Daijin woman, the woman of air, does state, I highly doubt things will be that clean, but we will do our part. In the meantime, make sure that your leader gets everything prepared. After all, if they cannot survive the next few days, then they will not have armies to lead, now will they? Still, though, I highly doubt they're so weak. They've been hiding well enough in the shadows and in the light. So I'm sure when the time is right, they'll show themselves. Glacia then states, quite true. But enough about business. And then they go through small talk and your vision ends. You blink and you're back in the room you came from.
Out of game, I'm speechless. Okay.
Well, what'd she say? What's going on?
It's gonna think about it for a second. Somehow, I don't know where I was. Like, it was an area in the sky or something. Glacia was talking to, like, an air Genasi or Dijon, or something.
Okay.
Anyway, I think they were planning to use the war as a distraction to take down the king.
Yes.
The
That
air,
seems straightforward.
Yeah, the air female was supposed to take over with the help of Glacia and also kill the offspring. It looks at full. And
Is that
Potentially.
wait? What?
Potentially.
potentially kill the
what's their
offspring.
what's their attack location?
Where they're attacking?
Did you find out where they're headed?
They mentioned the capital, which in the capital of Isle is Isle.
They're heading to Isle.
And they did state a few days from now.
In a few.
In a few days. Okay. Well.
Let's say a week.
Okay.
Okay. Alright.
So you learned that we need to figure out how to deal. Well, we don't really know how to deal with the army at the moment. We just know where they're heading, which is very good information. But we still have to deal with the more pressing issue of how are we going to be undetected. I guess since there's going to be a distraction with the whole army leading all the people out of the cities, they're going to lead an excursion to attack the capital when they're at a weak point, I suppose.
Yes.
But we still don't know how to finish this, because you said that this Genasi woman, is she the one that's attack?
Sorry?
Who's going to be the attacker?
Out of game, it's both of them, correct? They're both going to attack the king, or the Genasi, or whoever there are.
The
and
Genasi
their
woman,
followers.
yeah, she's going to attack, and then Glacia will step up to rule. The way ascension of a king works is through descendants, but another way it happens is through being ordained by a higher power. Like in real life, it's like the chosen king is chosen by God and his descendants before him, something like that. And that is true in mythology as well, most of the time. Glacia, being from this realm, can ascend to kingship. And in some mythologies as well, kings are partially godlike, or at least something of that nature. They are revered, they are worshipped, and in that worship, they are considered divine. And that is what Glacia is banking on to ascend.
Interesting. Okay, so you were saying, okay, so there's going to be, I understand as a player, I don't know if Nikolai understands. Okay. Essentially, you're saying that through the belief of that person being powerful and people having that understanding, okay, she's the one in power, I'm gonna worship, I don't know, give her praise, I guess, and that leads her to have power.
Yeah, most of the time, like if you're ever in some type of monarchy, whether it be matriarchal or patriarchal, it's like all hail the king, or long live the queen, or something of that nature, which is in itself a way of praising them or worshiping them.
Sure.
To an extent. Before I forget, Ada, you also heard at the very end of it, and soon enough they will send their soldiers to stop the army. And hopefully they will also send in their 10 soldiers as well. I forgot to give you that part. You rolled well enough for that.
10 soldiers?
Warforges? Those are what they're called, correct?
Yes, you got it. Most of the time when people refer to 10 soldiers, it's like not warforges, but in this case, yes, warforges. She was alluding to that. And having this information, you also know potentially where the extra souls are going to go to.
Oh, they're going to the warforges, aren't they?
They're going to potentially take that piece of the army for themselves as well. So defeating Ophelia's people, whoever is like bringing in the souls, yeah, that is a good idea to stop them.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm trying to keep track. I didn't follow the last part, so I'm guessing is that I don't know. I mean, maybe Grok's a better military mind than Nikolai is, but I'm trying to make sense of. Okay, so Ophelia is trying to take over the Warforges. Is that her assignment essentially?
More or less. Like, she has already done her plan, which was resurrecting any army of undead, and her plan is basically fulfilled. She just needs to constantly, through this point in time, continue to funnel souls into this plane.
And those will go to Warforges.
Correct.
Okay.
With a necromancer's power and gifts, they can what's the word? Graft those souls into a warforge, superseding anything that's there because it's humanoid, and then taking control of that, and then turning them against the kingdom.
Nikolai at this moment is like his mind just like flips, and he just like says like obscenities, and he's like, oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so if we had, he has his idea at the same time. So I had a book that contained souls, correct?
That was
You had one.
I know,
Yeah.
I had one. So, but I have an idea. If their idea is to gain souls for Warforges, what if we get something that can contain and trap souls so that they don't go to the Warforges, and then we can get them and then dismiss them later so they don't feed their army.
And where exactly in our time are we going to find an item to do such?
Anna?
She just looks towards you. Yeah?
Do you know where you can find a contract anywhere?
No, not again.
Maybe my grandma or my mom. There was my dad, but I think we killed him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think I got that you did. You did do that?
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you told them
remember.
multiple times. But Fauna does state, I don't really know where my mom is, and my grandma's back in the wild forest.
Okay.
If my dad's dead, he's probably back in the Nine Hells. We can probably, he'd probably be a less, she wouldn't know this. Millie then states, don't really know what's going on here, but if her father is a demonic presence from the Nine Hells, you might be able to ritualistically summon a lesser demon to get information, maybe. You just need to have the spells.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Can
I'm
you
just.
get spells?
Well, this is all on the assumption that we can get something so we can trap souls into it.
Okay.
And I don't really have the desire to make a contract so that I can get a soul book again.
Fauna,
But
how long do you think it would...
I
Sorry.
like the idea of taking something from somebody when they're trying to get it first, or so we can get it first before them. That excites me a lot more.
Okay, alright. Fauna, how long do you think it would take to get to your grandmother?
From here, maybe 2.5 days?
Yeah, that's not we need to see. Do we have a Millie?
We're going
Millie.
to summon Bentar. Is that what we do?
This is an interesting idea. Millie, do you know about magic?
Some. You're gonna be more specific. Not everyone knows everything about magic.
I'm wondering if you know the summoning circle.
I know the spell summoning circle, which would allow you to summon some minor creature or entity, but it would be CR 2 or below. So depending on how long they've died, you might be able to bring them back, but it takes at least a day for someone to learn the spell.
Wait,
Wow.
out of game dogma. I'm just a random memory ahead of my head. Doesn't Ada know that spell thanks to what was the character's name back in back at the festival, if you know what I'm talking about, before the whole Mara got possessed thing happened when they were trying to summon spirits.
Yeah.
I can't remember the character's name right now, but you know what I'm talking about, correct?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. From what I remember, you do have like a summon spell. I just don't remember which one it is.
This was Find Familiar. I think that's what it was.
What? No,
Yeah,
what?
it was Find Familiar.
It was Find
Oh, okay. Never mind. That's
Never
like a
mind.
that's a
Never-
minor summon spell, but I thought you had
You
something
technically
like
summon an
similar.
imp, which would be a
Oh.
lesser demon, and they might have information on that.
Oh, interesting.
But Millie does state it would take a day for someone to learn it. And it would have to
Well-
be a wizard. Anyone a wizard? Or Warlock. I could probably do Warlock.
Dust
But
is a
I
warlock.
myself can't cast a spell.
Yes. Well, this is just a thought. I don't know. What's our next? What's the other? What's all the things we have on the table currently?
Grok does state. By what do you mean?
Like,
Are
what
we
we can
like?
do.
Yeah, like are we? If we it's stated so we're not supposed to go fight an army. It seems like that's just not effective. It's going to be too massive, too many people, or too many entities that we have to go against, and it's not effective. If we're gonna go strike where Ophelia is, we don't know where she's at necessarily, but she knows what she's doing. The third thing is we have to go see what we can do to defend the kingdom in the capital, but that's for a later date. So what is the current
There's also Ophelia servants
directive?
or followers that we have to
Yeah.
kill.
So can we suss out where the followers could be or where Ophelia could be, and then we could track them down?
Ada does have the information on where the followers geographically could be, so you can easily find them. Maybe Ophelia is there because she would not put herself in front of a raging war. That'd be dumb. So she could be there.
Okay.
With the current events, fighting an army, yeah, you could do some damage, but at the exact same time, potentially, eventually, you might be overwhelmed. Again, undead don't have to rest, and, well, there's like 8 of you.
Yes.
That being said, you will have an army coming here soon. It's just you need to buy time. This more or less fortress, technically surveillance area, will have the other city blockade an area long enough for the army to get here. You have information on the enemy army, so they won't be going in blind, so you will be saving a lot of lives. But again, with the current situation at hand, even if this is a distraction and the king well assuredly knows, it is still something they need to defend against, because if they just ignore it, people will die, causing, the undead army to gain more numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All these words.
That being said, you still have the Air Genasi woman, or Daijin woman, let's call her Air Genasi for right now, own situation at hand, but that will be in a week's time. You can definitely inform the king, which I'm going to say, wave of the hand, you can do it if you want to, and warn them that there might be a coup happening in a week, and be prepared for that.
Yes.
Right now, you do have the daughter of the kingdom, which means that she is safe for now. The son can be safeguarded by the general or something of that nature. They aren't after murdering them. It's more of kill the king, and if the children cause trouble, well, then they die too. Again, you're going against evil people. Or very merciless people.
We also don't know who we're dealing with, at least the Air Jaws. We don't know who that is.
Yeah. More on them later. At any rate, you do know where Ophelia's people are. You can find them. They are near the city that you're supposed to or could head to, which is the last city of the mission, which is the leader. The way Ada's information was gathered, they are doing something in that city, and they hope soon enough that they will be able to lead the Air Genasi's people in the strike against the king.
Okay, so if we take out the leader, that's going to cause some complications, correct? Or
yes.
No, okay. So I'm saying this as a game as a player. At least, besides warning the king about what's going to happen in a week, the other two things that I think we should mainly do is one, find the leader, get them out of the picture, and then also take care of find the leader, take them out of the picture, which will hopefully help things a little, and find Ophelia's followers, take care of them so they stop gathering souls.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can definitely try to find an item that will harbor souls, but the only way to do that is to first find one, and to maybe make a deal with another demon or devil.
Again.
Wait.
Wait.
Yes. Okay. No, I'm just not. I'm pondering.
No,
Okay.
that's it.
Millie, do you have anything else that you're supposed to? What reason why you're staying here?
Genuinely entertainment.
Hmm. Never really. It's kind of. What is it? What's it like where you come from?
Gray.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Very dark. They
interesting.
have I mean, they have a sun, but it's also gray, and it makes time very confusing. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Noted. Well, um, did you happen to look outside?
Not
Me?
yet.
I mean, there's all the nice sun. There's like
It's probably
people.
because of the time she gets the sun. I'm gonna be honest, but
She just looks towards you. I'm not a vampire.
no,
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't mean
yeah.
that.
No, I wasn't assuming that you were. I'm just wondering, like, when's the last time you were outside in like the sun?
Yeah, like you open the door and she like looks outside. A while? Or are you trying to direct my eyesight towards the shadow dragon in the ground?
The
The
latter.
what? You brought it here?
Yes.
You know what? That's one thing I'd rather not have explained.
Well, I mean,
How long did that take?
we don't know. Did we ever investigate what this dragon was?
Not really. I think you brought it here and then like decided on holding off till later.
Didn't you disassemble the dragon? Is that the word?
Disassembled?
We-
Kind of. I think you might have
Okay.
cut the head off, but I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Millie like comes out. She doesn't burn in the sunlight. She's more of a ghost than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, it's dead.
Well, yes, but it I've never seen. Well, I don't really know much about dragons, but I've never seen something. Normally, when you get attacked by a breath attack, you don't just die and turn into some kind of ghostly shadow. You burn, and then you fall down. What kind of dragon is this?
Shadowfell dragon. In a way. Sometimes things come in from the material plane and get corrupted by the Shadowfell. Soon enough, either overwhelmed by potential whispers of power or corruption on its own. Some people describe it as screams within the mind until it breaks and shatters. With dragons, I assume it's kind of the same thing, but you can never tell with them.
What caused it?
She looks towards you. Not sure. I'm only 400 years old. This thing looks maybe 800, 900. Can't really tell you.
You're saying it's been here for at least 800 years?
Shadowfell-wise, not here.
So I'm guessing more on the idea of how it came on this reality.
Either
How did it-
someone ripped open part of reality to bring it here, or someone summoned it here, and that requires a lot of strength.
Well,
Dangerous amounts, but so long as no one is a contractual being, it should be fine. That
So-
being the case, though, the fire breath, or whatever you want to call it, is a cause of the Shadowfell overcoming this creature.
So now I'm kind of confused. If a being that isn't from the realm that it was originated from came to this realm or a different realm, shouldn't they be sent back to their original one?
It depends
Or-
on what they are and how they die and how they were brought here.
I see.
If it's
Well.
strong enough, even in death, their physical form will stay here, but maybe their spirit will not. Maybe this is what's happening now? Again, I don't really know entirely what's going on here. Just can give you conjecture.
Well, I don't know what to do with it, but we thought we'd bring it here. So, if there's anything that you can maybe use this for, that would be nice to know, if possible.
Uh,
And yes.
I'm not a tanner or a artificer, craftsman, or whatnot. I cannot do it with anything. But I'm sure if one of your people can work with dragon scales or horns, dragons themselves do make good component material.
I meant something more along the lines of if you're assuming that somebody cast a spell to bring it here, then we could use the remnants of it to find out who was the caster or find out what kind of magic they used to bring it here or where they brought it or how it was brought back. And is there a way to like trace back that magic?
With the scrying spell,
I think that is something I would love to have. Well, that's all the information I had at the moment. Okay.
okay. She like walks back in the building.
I don't know. I was going. I guess that was most of my information. I was just trying to figure out more, and I don't
Yeah, I
know.
did. Well, did you learn anything from that was useful?
The dragons aren't from here. That's one thing, and I
Yeah.
learned that they're powerful enough to bring monsters from a different place and have them stay here. Most of the time, when something gets summoned, it doesn't stay here. So that's something I've never seen before.
Depends on
Very
how
good.
they get there.
So
Again,
that either means that there could be a rift. If there's a rift, then things could be leaking into this reality.
it's
And that's
possible.
not good. That's not good.
Could be this Ophelia's person's people or something else. Again, not entirely sure what's going on here.
I was about to say, how more catastrophic can this get? And I think I'm just going to jinx myself by saying that.
But Ophelia looks towards Whisper and looks towards you. Well, before I probably get...
Wait, do you mean
Millie.
Yeah,
Really?
You
sorry.
said Ophelia.
Ophelia. Ophelia disappears for a second. No, that was my bad. Millie does look towards Whisper and Ada, and she goes, well, before I get more involved in this, I'm going to go. Good luck to you, Ada. Wish you well on your journey. Miss Whisper, try not to die again. I don't know you that well.
Thank you, Millie, for all of this, for bringing us back. I appreciate it.
Sure. And to the rest of you, good luck. She
Thank you.
disappears, going back to the Shadowfell.
Bye.
She waves and as she disappears. Grok then states, all right then. We more or less know what's happening now, which is concerning. And most
yeah.
of the other adventurers will likely be trying to stop an army from taking over the kingdom. Which, fair.
It's really going to make things worse. I'll be honest.
More than likely, the rest of the teams will either be securing cities or helping out with the army. So I think we're the only free hands that can potentially take out the leader and stop the king from dying.
How do we get there?
To the leader and to the king.
To the leader. I think the king isn't.
King
To
is
getting. I have the ability to teleport to the capital. So I think getting down to to Hydra. Is that correct? I believe. Is
Hydra, yeah.
first. Hydra is priority. Um, Either we could find a way of traveling there from our current location, or we could use a different. I use the summoning circle that I have down in Wyron, and that would be able to our ways to get there.
It'll save time
we
for sure.
we would save time by traveling because we would have to travel through. We'd have to travel through the desert again. Is that correct or not?
Do they?
You would travel through a mountain range instead of the desert this time.
Okay, the desert. The desert's.
okay.
Oh, Yupta. Wait. Oh, because the
Yupta's-
Wyron to Yupta is the desert. I guess.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yupta to Hythe is a desert.
Oh, that's the
Oh.
desert. Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yupta to Hydra is a mountain range.
Okay. Well, I guess we could go through a mountain range. That doesn't seem like it's too.
And
Too
lowland desert
difficult.
area here and there. Not
Sure.
enough to like warrant potential danger, but enough to say, hey, there's a desert here, be careful.
Hmm.
But not to the extreme that that Yupta and Hythe were. So you can definitely traverse it yourselves if you need to. But you do have that spell, and it will buy you a lot of time. Fauna and Vol do have, and you do know this, summon Greater Steed. And you know that Fauna's spells are, a little stronger than most, but they have a buyback cost, which means that she usually gets hurt or something else happens. Which means that you definitely can get there in record time if you summon a Greater Steed and all of you ride. You just don't know what Fauna will summon.
I mean, I could just. Vol could just summon Greater Steed, and I could turn two people into horses.
That's also true. I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah.
But Opal does state, probably your spell circle to get us there closest city would be the best option rather than riding
Traveling
horses
all the
there.
way down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I suppose we could do that. I feel bad for doing this, but Dust, what is your opinion on the matter?
He nods.
Okay.
He says nothing else but nods.
We'll catch him. We'll catch Dust actually out of game. We'll catch Dust up later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Grok does state, having the second heir away from the capital at this time would also be fruitful. So my vote would be teleporting there.
Okay.
Right.
I agree.
Whisper does state, the king has his own people. I'm not the only talent in the city. I'm pretty sure he can take care of himself for a while. So
All right.
weakening things down would be beneficial.
Weakening. Oh yes, the leader. Is that what you're meaning?
Wait, shoot. Where's my sword? Somebody's taking
Ye-
the sword?
You have your sword.
It's
Okay.
underneath
on
the
your
bed you were laying on.
It's on your
Okay.
person. Well, I guess you're sitting on it.
Sitting on. You know, I'm not gonna question why you put the sword on the bed and then my body, but you know what? We don't have
Because
time for that.
normally when a hero dies, they lay their sword on their person, and they're
On the
buried with their
person, but not underneath. But sure. Grok said.
And I'm not dead anymore.
You were.
For a certain amount of time. I'm here. So.
I'm glad for it, Ada, and I'm so thankful, and I
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
I
So-
don't know if I say that exaggeringly just to convince me that or something else, but okay. Alright, are we going?
No, I have two matters to deal with first. Okay, Nikolai's gonna step outside.
You step outside.
Okay. Well, I hope. I don't know how long it's been. Maybe 2 hours or something. Maybe it's.
About, yeah.
Okay. Well, what? We probably gathered all our stuff already, and then.
For sure.
I'll go talk to Miss
Silver.
Healer over here, Miss Silver, and then grab like a couple guards or something. Okay. Excuse me, Miss Silver and attendants.
Yes?
So we are heading down to a city that is to the south and going to have a mission to attack one of the leaders. We will be teleporting down there, but take our advice and head towards Gret and inform everybody about what the impending situation is. We won't be able to take this dragon, but can you, if possible, maybe secure it or something? We did slay it, but we won't be able to take it with us. So maybe you could take it with you on a cart. I'm not sure. But just be safe. Let everybody know what's going on. And I guess good favor to you all. It's a difficult time right now.
Right. Thank you for this information. We'll take the dragon as both evidence and your spoils of war to the next city.
Yes. I will give you just for your compensation. I give him a flyer from dust that I have made, and also I give just as like a thanks for like letting us be here. I'll just pull out a bag and then hand Miss Silver 100 gold just to like distribute to some of these guards so that they're well paid for just helping us out in
Yeah.
the situation.
Okay.
Well, good luck.
Good luck in turn.
Okay, and then we leave, and I head back inside.
You head back inside. I thought you had a second thing to do.
Oh, the dragon, and one was the
okay.
dragon.
You did
the
them
other
at the
one
same
was,
time. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. So, everybody ready?
Yep. Okay.
Opal, do you have anything left? Is everything done on your end? You said you had your thing completed.
What were you working on?
How would she respond right now after what Ada just said? You walk in, Nikolai, just drawing a circle, and Opal seems more or less thinking about something. When you ask her what she was working on, and what were you working on, Opal does state, things that hopefully will help us out. It's honestly a last-ditched effort, but it's something strong enough that will stop a few of the problems we face, but don't, for one, want to tell you about it in case you want to stop it, because it is potentially a risk factor, not to our lives, but to everything around us.
It looks like a target. I didn't want to do that.
More or less a last-ditch effort thing. And I'd rather not have someone aware of it, potentially get captured by the enemy, and then tell them about it.
Okay. Apple, I trust whatever you're doing.
It's a very crude portal. But
It works. You know, it kind of reminds me of the portal from Rick and Morty. If you just had.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You summon a portal after, I think it's 10 minutes to draw it, or
I
something.
think it's a minute. It takes me a minute.
Okay, cool.
That takes some
I'll just throw it up there.
teleportation circle.
Oh, it's a 10-foot diameter circle. Oh well, I made it smaller, but
I got
yeah.
you.
Can you expand?
Bup.
Oh, that works.
Dope.
That works.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. The circle is cast, and the spell is warping in the area.
And okay, everybody jump in.
Okay. Fauna jumps in. All right. Sounds like a plan. All right, here we go. And then Opal looks towards Ada. I like that. Now that everyone's gone, looks towards Dust, but you. But I don't care if you know. You basically know everything that's going on here. Dust nods, jumps in. I like that.
You know the
jumps
portal
in.
only lasts for 6 seconds, right?
Right.
Thematically, it works.
Okay.
Around and fighting lasts 6
Ada's
seconds.
gonna gesture for Opal to go in first.
She jumps in first.
I
Alright,
guess,
then
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And Ada rounds out the team. Now, wherever you're heading, we will find out where exactly you are. You know exactly where you are. And then you'll be traveling soon after. But where you'll be traveling to, well, we'll have to wait until next time to see how that city is doing.
Oh.
Hopefully not.
In the
No.
current age of war. But we'll figure that one out next time as we end the session
Ah,
for today.
cool.